Campaigners who want to see heading the ball in football reduced have written to the government today calling for it to be made a national health issue.
Yes, it comes as a report into the possible impact of heading is due to be published this afternoon. Our sports correspondent Natalie Perks has been speaking to two former England players who are worried about the future.
There you go, good boy.
Life moves at a calmer pace for Gary Pallister these days, but there was a time when he was one of the biggest names in football. As the four-time Premier League winner approaches his 60th birthday, he's starting to notice little changes.
When I left the coffee shop where I was having my morning coffee, I'd actually started walking home. Got halfway home, put my hand in my pocket and realised I had my car keys and realised that I'd brought the car. So now, is that just being absent-minded? You then think all sorts. But that worry and that fear, I think, is always there.
Pallister's header out.
The reason he's starting to wonder now is because his career as a defender was blighted with vicious migraines that left him temporarily unable to speak. They started when he was 16.
I would probably get 3 to 4 migraines a year, and they were quite debilitating. You know, the vision, speech, the tingling, the violent headaches, and it would be like that for hours until eventually I would throw up. I wouldn't train, I wouldn't play, I wouldn't do whatever. So yeah, throughout my career, that blighted me, and it wasn't till I actually stopped playing football that the migraines kind of disappeared. I can only deduce that the heading of the football was causing my migraines to be a lot more severe.
In the last few years, he's watched fellow Manchester United players Nobby Stiles and Gordon McQueen die with CTE, a form of dementia that can only be diagnosed after death and is thought to be caused by repetitive head trauma. It's particularly emotive as Gary's mum is in a home with dementia.
So just how worried are you then?
Concerned. I think at this moment I'm okay, but it is enough to know what I did go through with the migraines and the concussions and being knocked out, that the potential's there for me to have brain damage.
He's not alone.
There's times you'd head it and it would immediately go black.
Steve Howey played more than 300 times in the Premier League and 4 times for England. In a coffee shop near his home in the northeast, the 53-year-old told me that, like Gary, he's starting to notice differences.
I just thought, is it a case of just becoming a little bit more forgetful, not being able to get words out and kind of getting frustrated by myself? And I did find it was getting kind of gradually becoming a little bit worse, to the point where, as I said, it was frustrating because I'd be having a sentence, I know what word I want to say and I can't get it out.
A study in 2019 showed footballers are more than 3 times more likely to get dementia than the general population. Defenders are particularly at risk. Steve was sent for private brain scans by a solicitor. He says the results show he has the beginnings of cognitive decline. He thinks that's down to heading the ball daily since the age of 6 and has now joined a lawsuit against the football authorities.
It's definitely, heading has a huge part of it. It's not as though I'm a boxer, it's not as though I'm a rugby player, I'm not a street fighter. It is a case of a combination of just years and years of heading the ball.
Again, your scissors should be quick.
For Dave Parnaby, football is a family affair. The former Middlesbrough Academy coach has taught kids skills for decades. And even though he's now retired, he still helps out with grandson Mason's team.
Zidane's or Maradona's, whatever you call them.
Dave's son, Stuart, a former Premier League player and Mason's dad, never misses a session. These under-9s are now banned by the FA from heading the ball. Over the next few years, that will extend up to 12 years old. It's designed to reduce the amount of heading players will do whilst their skulls are still developing.
We think it's a win-win situation here because heading's being taken out of the game, so first and foremost we're protecting the boys. But the change in rules, in my opinion, my humble, honest opinion, is that the game's improved at this level, at this age group. It's not about stopping heading in the game. It's about educating coaches and parents and kids about the long-term effects of repetitive heading.
Give me the ball.
It might be that the damage has already been done for Gary and Steve. They now want education from the FA and welfare from the Players' Union to be the focus.
I think protocols that are getting put in place now would have been ideal when I was 10 or 11. Maybe I wouldn't have started to get migraines. I just know that a lot more has to be done in educating kids at a young age as the potential damages of what football can bring.
I think the FA and the PFA, you know, as members, to look after their ex-players in every way they can, you know, because they'd give their lives for it, really, and ultimately, some of them have.
Natalie Perks reporting there. Well, the FA have declined to comment on the legal action mentioned in her report, but they have said to us the following. They say, we continue to invest in and support multiple projects in order to gain a greater understanding of this area through objective, robust and thorough research.
We're joined now here on the sofa by Judith Gates, who is the founder of the charity Head Safe Football. Morning, Judith. It's lovely to see you. And I want to start...
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're so welcome. I want to start by asking you, there's a very special reason you're involved in this, and it's all about Bill. Tell us about your lovely Bill.
Yeah. My lovely Bill sadly died 14 months ago. His post-mortem revealed that he died with chronic traumatic encephalopathy. No evidence of Alzheimer's. Football caused Bill's death. But one of the things that he did when he was still cognizant was that he turned to the family and said, do all that you can to protect players in the future. And so I have a promise to keep, and that is why I'm working so hard to do everything to safeguard today's players.
And as part of that campaign, you've written to Lisa Nandy, Cabinet Minister. Just tell us, what does your letter to her say? What do you want from her?
We specifically would like the government to declare repetitive head impacts, give a government health warning on repetitive head impacts, and declare it an issue that needs to be addressed, much as tobacco was in the past. And we're doing that for a whole range of reasons. We're doing it in conjunction with our Head Safe Football slogan, Think Head Safe, reduce heading in training, and we're hoping that our slogan, with the backup from the government, will actually help me fulfil my promise to Bill to safeguard players in the future.
It's interesting you should mention the parallels with cigarettes, because of course you pick up a pack of cigarettes now, there's a warning on it.
Absolutely.
You've brought a ball in to show us this morning. If I could just take that
of course.
And show people at home. Tell us about the warning that's on this ball.
Well, it came to us as quite a surprise. We tried to get a ball for a match that we were running, and it literally came to us saying, do not head the ball excessively. And so we were quite delighted to find that. We didn't influence the decision there, but we obviously will be saying to government, can we, in having a rollout, hopefully, of raising awareness on this, can we have a campaign in which slogans are used, in which information is put out on posters, maybe on uniforms, etc., because we really do need to raise awareness.
So do you think you can see a day where just like on a packet of cigarettes, you get a warning that every football that's going to be used has a warning like that? Is that what you want?
I think that it would be very thoughtful if every football did, because obviously we're trying to influence in a whole variety of ways. But if you're talking about reducing heading in training, if you're talking about thinking head safe, then to actually have that message on the football that you're using reinforces the message very powerfully.
We talk, don't we? You mentioned that phrase CTE and the damage that can be done to a brain. Just tell us what impact that had on Bill. How did you first notice it and how did he change?
We first noticed it with minor things, but then over 14 years, when you recognise the change, it is devastating. The man he was, the powerful titan that I watched playing football, literally melted away, and he became a shell of his former self. So I watched his torment. I watched him go through suicidal ideation. I watched him obsessively, compulsively walking 10 miles a day. And I could do little to relieve it other than love him. He was violent to himself. He was not violent to the family. I understand ex-players, other ex-players are violent to the family. Former mild-mannered people behave totally out of character. And then, of course, ultimately, Bill could not walk. He could not speak. And the game that gave him so much literally took his life away.
It's devastating.
Devastating, yes.
And what's that been like for you and the rest of the family?
Obviously, we described him as our pater familias, the head of the family, and we've lost him. His grandkids have, his great-grandkids have. But I think a friend said to me recently, Bill's final gift to you was the promise that you made. And it's actually given us a very strong purpose. So I like to think that with Head Safe Football, he would be pleased that we are seeking to fulfil his legacy. We describe it as his legacy, and we're seeking to safeguard players in the future, in his name.
Judith, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for bringing the ball as well. And,
thank you very much.
We'll keep in touch, and we'll report again on the BBC later today about this report that's coming out.
Right,
Thank you very much indeed.
so much.
Judith, thank you. Thank you.